Can I explain for one quick second what escrow means? Because there's a bunch of articles out today and a lot of confusion regarding Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier, and the players union is getting upset. So I'm going to explain to everyone what's happening. Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier, remember the coach and the NBA player, gambling, put on leave, paid leave. Well, now words come out that in fact, they're not being paid. That Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups, who makes $7 million a year, Terry Rozier, who makes $26 million this year, that in fact, they are not being paid. What does that mean? Does that mean that the Miami Heat right now are looking in their left-hand pocket and saying, whoa, I got an extra 26 large? Does that mean that the new buyer of the Blazers is looking at the books of the Blazers and saying, oh, looks like I don't have $7 million to pay, right? Let me explain. When a player is put on administrative leave in Major League Baseball, like Emmanuel Class A, those players continue to get paid, which means your accounts payable department or your finance department, whichever specific department you want to talk about, your payroll department, if you have one in your company, they set their payroll. And that means every employee, not just the players. It's the coaches. It's the front office people. It's everybody who gets paid are put into a system. You're a payroll master, payroll accountant. Maybe they don't call a payroll master anymore. That's interesting. You're a payroll accountant. They go through and set it up. This player gets that. This head of marketing gets that. You get to tell your company what accounts you want the money put into. Paul LaDuca would get paid like into 5 different accounts. No problem. Juan Pierre, 3 different accounts. I love it. 4 savings. I'm in for all of it. It's easy. It's a click on a computer screen. What's happening now with Terry Rozier is his payroll every 2 weeks is not going into an account that he chooses. It's going into a separate account that Terry Rozier does not have access to. That is what's called a segregated account, maybe even an escrow account. But an escrow account, don't be confused, has an escrow agent. Literally somebody whose job it is to wait till someone with authority allows him, her, them to release the money to the beneficiaries of the escrow account, in this case, Terry Rozier. A segregated account is an account controlled by the Miami Heat, by the employer, but there is money that is being given to Terry Rozier in an account for the benefit of Terry Rozier, but controlled by the Heat and will not be released to Terry Rozier until the NBA allows it. Under any scenario, escrow or segregated, Terry Rozier can't use the money to pay the plumber. It's not his money. So the players union is furious about this because the story that we initially heard that they were getting paid while they were suspended and now they're not getting paid because whether the Heat are paying the money or not is actually not relevant to the players union. If the Heat are not paying the money to Terry Rozier, that's the only thing that matters. Whether the Heat are giving it to an escrow agent, whether the Heat are giving it into a segregated account, whether the Heat are holding on to it and using it to buy slides to put on the top of a ship, they really mean the same thing to the players union because it means that Rozier's not getting it. The players union had to come up with a statement because they've got to grieve this. There is going to be a grievance filed against the NBA and against the Heat in order to get Rozier his money during the course of this investigation. The players union had to be clear. We are against gambling. We are against losing the integrity of the game. We're against everything that Terry Rozier is alleged to have done. But surprise, we don't know whether he did it. So their quote had to reflect that, and it did. While we are in agreement with the league that upholding the integrity of the game is of the utmost importance, their decision, meaning the NBA, to place Terry on leave without pay is counter to the presumption of innocence and inconsistent with the terms of our collective bargaining agreement. We plan to challenge their decision via the proper channels. Let me explain what that means. Why they led with counter to the presumption of innocence is interesting to me. It means they don't have a very good case, and they're appealing to our sense of patriotism and the presumption of innocence. You are innocent until proven guilty. That's really not taken into account in a collective bargaining agreement. There is nothing inside the collective bargaining agreement that talks about that. In fact, what it says is you can negotiate something called administrative leave. There are circumstances where you get paid, circumstances where you do not get paid, and it is not dependent on a court of law declaring you guilty, or a jury of your peers, or a judge. There are provisions that do not require the end of the case for you to not get suspended, which is the equivalent of not getting paid. By leading with the presumption of innocence, you're not leading with what matters. You need to lead with what's in the CBA. So they mention it. And they say it's inconsistent with the terms of our CBA. If that's the case, you lead with that, except you say not that it's inconsistent. You say it's a violation. Go back and read statements done by the Players Union to protect players in the past on various grievances. And the lead is this is an outright violation of the terms in the CBA. That's when you know that the players have a strong feeling about an issue. When they drop inconsistent with the terms and they drop it after he's presumed innocent, isn't he, folks? It's not exactly like the NBA or the Heat are shaking in their britches. I can tell you that. Now, of course, Chauncey Billups is not in the union. Former member of the union, but coaches are not in the union. The union doesn't care about Chauncey Billups. They're not going to release a statement about Billups. So that's it. Billups is going to lose that $7 million or any percentage of it, and I can promise you he's not going to have any recourse. He may file a lawsuit. He wouldn't have the union behind him. He'd have to file a lawsuit in the court of law against the NBA and against the Portland Trailblazers. And here's the truth. It'll be a cold day in Miami in August before Chauncey Billups files a lawsuit over this $7 million. I can promise you that. So now I just wanted you to have that info when people talk about what's going on with Rozier and Billups. We've got breaking news today. I love when we have no breaking news animation, no breaking news music, but sometimes because we're live, things happen. Last Thursday, actually, Coca, this is 2 in a row. I believe this story broke with Coca on the second hour of last Thursday's show.